Think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists, but they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
Democrats in the media are now unloading all their nasty attacks on rising Trump White House star and new press secretary, Karoline.
This might just be the most explosive legal showdown ever to unfold in the world of daytime television. A scandal so seismic, it's threatening to bring down one of the most iconic talk shows of our time. At the heart of the storm, rising political firebrand Karoline Leavitt, young, bold, and unafraid to clap back. Once the subject of pointed jokes and biting commentary from the outspoken co-hosts of The View, Karoline is now flipping the script in the most dramatic way possible. With an $800 million lawsuit that's rattling the entertainment industry from coast to coast. What began as a casual segment, snarky remarks, dismissive tones, and on-air giggles, has now escalated into a high-stakes battle. The show's panel, known for their fiery debates and fearless opinions, may have gone one step too far. Karoline, far from brushing it off, took legal action that has sent a chill through the halls of ABC. Behind the scenes, insiders whisper of sheer panic. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin are reportedly scrambling, making desperate attempts to reach Karoline, hoping to quash the suit before it obliterates the brand they've built. The once unshakable table is now wobbling under the weight of potential ruin. Karoline's lawsuit claims defamation, emotional distress, and intentional damage to her public image and political trajectory. If her allegations hold, this could become a precedent-setting case. One that changes how media personalities navigate the blurry line between satire and slander. The laughter may have stopped. Now, it's courtroom strategy, damage control, and survival.
ABC News suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks. ABC News President Kim Godwin saying in a statement, effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her
words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
According to one insider close to the situation, they thought Karoline would brush it off, that she'd move on quietly. But instead, she's taking this all the way to court, and she's not backing down. Inside the glittering studio of The View, what was once confident banter has now turned into barely controlled chaos. Joy Behar, long known for her razor-sharp tongue and no-holds-barred takes, is reportedly racked with anxiety over the financial and professional blowback. Whoopi Goldberg, no stranger to public backlash herself, is said to be working overtime behind the scenes, trying to broker peace before the damage becomes irreversible. Sunny Hostin, typically poised and precise, is allegedly spiraling into panic. Whispers suggest she's fearing personal liability, a terrifying prospect that's sending shockwaves through the show's cast and crew. At the center of it all stands Karoline Leavitt, young, conservative, and unflinchingly bold. Her lawsuit doesn't mince words. It accuses The View of crafting a calculated narrative, one that targeted her reputation under the guise of casual commentary. The complaint points to a larger, unsettling pattern: the systematic ridicule of conservative women, while giving others a pass. And the stakes? Colossal. The $800 million lawsuit is a financial sledgehammer, threatening to upend ABC's daytime empire. Executives are reportedly in crisis mode, scrambling to reassure sponsors, calm advertisers, and manage a public relations firestorm that's burning hotter by the hour. Now, in a plot twist worthy of a primetime drama, the hosts are allegedly reaching out to Karoline directly, pleading for a private resolution before the courtroom lights flicker on. Behind closed doors, the mood is anything but composed. Producers have reportedly imposed a gag order, terrified that a single misstep might send the entire operation crashing down. But outside the studio, the silence isn't stopping the outrage. Audiences nationwide are demanding answers, questioning how a show that champions women's voices could so viciously attack one for thinking differently. One viral tweet cut straight to the heart of the matter. The View supports women, unless they're conservative.
You have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
Bang, Rowan, I couldn't do that at 27. No nonsense, straight to the point.
Karoline Leavitt's supporters are rallying behind her with unprecedented energy, not just as a former press secretary, but as a fearless disruptor taking on what they see as a media monolith run amok. To them, she's not just filing a lawsuit, she's launching a movement, standing at the front lines of a cultural shift demanding accountability from the very voices that shape public opinion daily. Her legal team isn't holding back. They built a case that's as precise as it is powerful, packed with exact quotes from the View's broadcast. Each statement is presented not as casual commentary, but as a targeted, malicious strike. The language in the lawsuit is unflinching, calling out what they describe as an orchestrated effort to defame and diminish. It's more than a complaint. It's a declaration that media platforms must answer for the power they wield. Behind the cameras, the financial nerves are kicking in. Several of The View's biggest advertisers are reportedly watching the developments with growing unease. No brand wants its logo tied to a scandal involving allegations of political bias and personal attacks. If this lawsuit goes to trial, the reputational risks could be massive, not just for the hosts, but for the companies that fund them. Inside ABC, the legal department is reportedly in high gear, trying to craft a settlement strategy that diffuses the situation without looking like a public admission of guilt. But Karoline has made her position clear. She's not backing down quietly. For her, this is about more than reputation. It's about reshaping the media landscape and forcing long-avoided conversations into the spotlight. Her supporters are amplifying her every move online, hailing her as a crusader for free speech and fairness. They say she's doing what millions wish they could, demanding accountability from those who have long dodged it. Meanwhile, the once confident hosts of The View are showing signs of strain. Joy Behar, once dismissive, is reportedly pushing for a private resolution. And Whoopi Goldberg, often the anchor of the table's bravado, is said to be privately rattled, fully aware that the legal aftermath could shadow her legacy for years to come.
So thrilled to have you with me. And you would think, ABC, having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit, would think not to engage in conspiracy theories about assassination attempts, but I guess that's too much to ask from The View. I mean, I gotta ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job, and then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go.
Sunny Hostin, known for her poised, articulate presence, is reportedly consulting with her own legal counsel, rattled by the possibility that her on-air comments could come with personal financial consequences. For someone who usually exudes calm precision, this sudden vulnerability is striking, and she's not alone. Behind the bright studio lights and polished segments, tension is thick in the air. Writers and producers at The View are said to be walking on eggshells, choosing their words with surgical care, knowing that anything said, or even suggested, could become evidence in court. The once vibrant backstage atmosphere is now cloaked in anxiety. Rumors are swirling that ABC may be weighing extreme options to contain the fallout. Among them, the unthinkable: canceling The View altogether. Once dismissed as an absurd hypothetical, that nuclear option is now reportedly being whispered about in executive meetings as a last resort measure if the legal firestorm continues to escalate. As more legal filings emerge, the gravity of the situation becomes harder to deny. Legal experts are calling Karoline Leavitt's case one of the most consequential media lawsuits in a generation. Her legal team has made their position unmistakably clear. There will be no retreat, no quiet settlement, and no backing down without a full-scale reckoning. What was once seen as a personal spat between a conservative political figure and a daytime talk show has exploded into something far bigger, a cultural flashpoint. Karoline's unyielding stance is striking a nerve with a large and growing audience who feel silenced, misrepresented, and fed up with what they see as one-sided narratives dominating the mainstream. She's not just fighting for her name, she's lighting a match beneath a long smoldering conversation about media power and responsibility. And the $800 million lawsuit? It's no hollow threat. That figure reflects calculated damages tied to reputational harm, lost political opportunities, and the millions who watch the broadcast in real time. For The View, that number is more than just a financial nightmare. It's a symbol of a legacy now hanging in the balance. Sources close to Karoline say there's no interest in quick fixes or hush-hush deals. What they want, loudly and unequivocally, is accountability.
Most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS, quite frankly.
As the co-hosts of The View scramble behind the scenes to clean up the wreckage, Karoline Leavitt is doing the exact opposite. She's charging forward, more determined than ever to hold powerful media figures accountable for their words. While the show's team attempts to patch the cracks in their foundation, Karoline is chiseling out a movement. Her social media feeds have transformed into a digital battleground, flooded with praise from supporters who see her not just as a political figure, but as a modern-day David facing down a Goliath-sized media machine. Admirers are calling her bold, fearless, and unapologetically relentless in her quest to confront what many believe is unchecked media bias. And it's not just her loyal base cheering her on. Former network insiders, political analysts, and even A-list celebrities are beginning to speak out. The growing consensus. The View didn't just step over the line, it bulldozed right past it. What was once a cheeky daytime debate show is now ground zero for a media accountability reckoning. This lawsuit isn't a shot across the bow. It's a cannon blast aimed directly at the heart of the industry's casual relationship with the truth. Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sunny Hostin, once untouchable behind their studio desks, are now confronting the sobering reality that influence without responsibility comes at a price. Inside ABC headquarters, tension is running high. Executives are reportedly holding late-night crisis meetings, desperately trying to strategize a way to salvage the brand and quell the public backlash. But viewers aren't easily swayed. The words spoken on air weren't just dismissive, they felt personal, targeted, and for many, deeply revealing. For years, conservative guests have whispered about bias on The View. But Karoline is the first to strike back with a legal case powerful enough to shake the foundations. The headlines are relentless, and with each legal motion, the pressure mounts. Apologies may soon be the only option left on the table. Karoline, meanwhile, isn't retreating, she's rising, channeling controversy into momentum. Her legal team is assembling a case piece by piece, with precision and purpose. If successful, it won't just rattle a network, it could rewrite the rules of what free speech looks like on national television.
So, how you feel? I'll start. Yeah, go ahead.
My takeaway is that the system works. We live in a democracy. People spoke. This is what people wanted. I vehemently disagree with the decision that Americans made, but I feel very, very hopeful that we have a democratic system in this country. We should value it. We should love it. We should protest if the situation...
What still excites you about coming to work here?
Getting paid. I do enjoy a paycheck. I'm not going to lie. But, listen, this is a place where you can come and say what you think, and as long as that is what the job is, I'm happy to be here. Just leave. I go home. I go home to my life, and I take care of my cat and do all the stuff I'm supposed to.
Gone are the days when media figures could dismiss their most damaging remarks with a chuckle and a shrug. The fallout from a single TV segment has now erupted into a full-blown national reckoning, one that's forcing the industry to take a long, uncomfortable look in the mirror. For Karoline Leavitt's supporters, this moment transcends politics. It's not about left or right. It's about drawing a clear and necessary line between spirited opinion and calculated character assassination. And it's a line that The View may have crossed with both feet. Once loyal fans are turning away in droves. Some are stunned by how drastically the tone of the show has shifted. Others are cutting ties entirely, disappointed by what they see as hypocrisy wrapped in applause lines. Ratings are slipping, and with them, the foundation of trust that once made The View a staple of daytime TV. Behind closed doors at ABC, insiders say the panic is palpable. Executives are reportedly crafting contingency plans, bracing for the worst if the lawsuit continues gaining traction. The fear isn't just financial, it's reputational. And that kind of damage, once done, is nearly impossible to undo. Adding fuel to the fire, former staffers, some anonymously, have begun speaking out, revealing that the recent controversy may not be a one-off, but rather the public eruption of a long-simmering internal culture. Meanwhile, Karoline has remained remarkably composed, carrying out her public duties with unwavering resolve. Her rise through the storm has been nothing short of striking. What was meant to undermine her has, instead, elevated her in the eyes of many. The irony couldn't be more cutting. A show built to amplify women's voices now stands accused of silencing one who simply dared to challenge the narrative. While Karoline Leavitt's political positions remain unwavering, it's her fearless stand against some of the most influential figures in media that's turning her into a national symbol of resilience. Across the country, supporters see more than just a former press secretary. They see a woman boldly confronting a system many have long believed to be untouchable. Behind the polished studio set of The View, cracks are beginning to show. Sponsors are quietly pulling back, legal bills are stacking up, and the show's public credibility is crumbling at a breathtaking pace. All of it sparked by one miscalculation: they underestimated Karoline. They thought she'd fold under pressure, that she'd quietly retreat as the criticism piled on. But instead of backing down, she became more vocal, more visible, and undeniably more powerful. What started as an attack intended to belittle her has only fueled her rise. This was never just about television ratings or sharp-tongued soundbites. This is about truth versus spin, courage versus cruelty. And Karoline Leavitt didn't just survive the onslaught, she owned it. Now, The View is facing its most sobering reality yet. Plummeting ratings, a lawsuit worth $800 million, and intensifying calls for cancellation. The same show that once prided itself on championing women's voices is now under fire for allegedly silencing one who dared to challenge their worldview. And the audience has noticed, loudly. Whether or not the lawsuit ever reaches a courtroom, one thing is already certain. Karoline has reshaped the public conversation. With composure, conviction, and a backbone of steel, she's shifted the power dynamic, proving that even the loudest media giants aren't beyond reproach. The fallout may change the landscape of daytime television, but Karoline's impact reaches even further. She has reminded the public, and the press, that truth still matters, and so does the cost of betrayal.